Welcome back to the Fear and Beer podcast.
where we discuss all things Halloween Horror Nights, horror movies, and just a little bit of beer.
So kill the lights, grab a cold one, and join us as we dive into this mad world we love.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
And I'm Jamie.
Like scary movies.
Uh-huh.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You miss me.
Aren't you drinking?
I never drink. Why?
And as a reminder to all listening, if you want to help us to continue growing as a podcast, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whichever streaming platform you use.
To stay up to date with us and all of our episodes, be sure to follow all of our socials. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Fear and Beer Pod.
Feel free to reach out to us. We love to interact with you all.
Good things come to those who wait. And we waited, and we got everything. And of course, we were away in a different state on a 3.5-hour car drive when Halloween Horror Nights decided to say, fuck it, here you go. Here's everything. Here, stop asking.
Hey, people are lucky they got us while you were in a hotel room, so
Oh, I know.
that's more effort than most people would put in. So,
And we said at the end of that episode, we will probably get this announcement on the following day when you are listening to our episode. So our episode, as soon as it came out, was already null and void. It was no longer speculation season. It was announcement season. We are in confirmation mode. We have a lot to get into. We have food tours, bars. We got David S. Pumpkins. We got scare zones. We got houses, shows, everything. We have unmasking the horror lineups. We got just so much stuff to get into. So we are strictly going into our main segment. I will go into my beer really quickly, but we have no reason to talk about speculation anymore. That segment is sort of null and void at the time being, because we've got everything we could ever ask for. So quickly, the beer I am drinking today is called Failsafe, because that seems to be what HHN did. They hit their failsafe switch, they dumped everything on us, and they said, here you go, enjoy. So this is from Woven Water Brewing. It's actually from Tampa. And this is a Czech Bohemian Pilsner, 4.8% ABV, 35 IBU. And this is a unfiltered traditional Czech-style Pilsner brewed with 100% bark Pilsner malt and hopped exclusively with noble Czech Saz hops. And this is a smooth, drinkable, medium-bodied Pilsner. It is malty, it is crisp, and it has a bitter finish according to Untappd. So I'm going to crack this. I'm going to pour it. I'm going to start drinking. Jamie, I know you got something. Let's get into your beer.
I do have something. So Nick picked this one out for me, which sounds pretty good. It is a hard cider from Schilling Cidery in Seattle, Washington, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've had something from a cidery before. So this is 5.2% ABV, 0 IBU, and the little details on Untappd. It's a modern semi-sweet apple-forward cider with an old fermentation process. One of the most approachable non-fruited ciders that Schilling has to offer. And a little bit about the can work that is really cool. We have a little Sasquatch Yeti guy on here walking through the mountains with the boombox that goes along with one of the house announcements that we got.
Very fitting.
Very fitting. And I'll have to post a picture of this can because this is really cool. And actually, I'm looking at the back of the can now. This beer is also gluten-free and vegan.
There you go. That's perfect for you.
How fun.
And then you got that old reliable silver bullet locked and loaded, Seamus.
I'm killing werewolves tonight again.
All right.
Just call me
I'm just
Van
gonna
Helsing.
I'm just gonna assume. Let's see. I'm gonna do a quick little one sip, one sniff, and then we're getting right into the nitty gritty of things. There's not much off the nose. I mean, it's a Pilsner. It's very clear, very Bud Light-ish. Heavier body. The malts are there. It is a very deceiving beer because it looks very, very light, but this is not that light tasting. Jamie, quickly before we get into this, how's that beer? I know you're probably just pouring it out.
Just pouring it up, actually. Pretty much smells like a regular cider. Doesn't have too much of that strong appley scent since it's a semi-sweet, but let's try it. It's actually really good. I feel like it's not as sweet as a cider usually is, like Angry Orchards and like stuff like that. It's really smooth too, which is nice. This is a good little regular old cider. I like it.
All right. So I tried to organize all these announcements as best as I could to make this episode run smooth. So we are going to get into kind of the miscellaneous of the event that's been announced since we were able to record. And that is stuff like the Taste of Terror, the Peacock Bar, all that stuff. We will get through all of this and then we will jump right into scare zones and houses. I think I have it flipped on the rundown. So we are going to dive right in. So first, the very first thing I saw when the announcements came was that there was this new food style event called the Taste of Terror. Now, this is supposedly, I think this is going to be at Soundstage 33, and a Taste of Terror ticket entitles one guest to a tasting preview of select Halloween Horror Nights 2023 food and beverage. This ticket includes non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages, one souvenir light-up cup, and one Coca-Cola Freestyle cup, and then some photos, stuff like that. They have not announced what food is going to be on this tour yet. You can only imagine that it's going to be, probably not every single item that we're going to get at this event because the food has grown. The menus are drastically improved over the last, maybe 5 years or so. The last 2 or 3 years have been really, really good.
I mean, minus the candy burger.
Yeah, oh God. And that's the picture they have, the one they're promoting it with is like
the candy burger.
It's like a black bun burger. Like it's just like it's the stomachs are not ready.
I didn't mean to like bring you back to a
Soundstage 33 better have metal toilets because
That's like-
porcelain's
you
gonna cut
smell
it.
that drink that you had one night and like that meme that he almost died and you're like "Ugh," just thinking about it.
The flashback. Oh
It's
God,
Nick
God,
having a
no,
flashback
no,
right now,
don't do it.
thinking about the burger.
So this is $159.99. There better be a lot of food.
A
on
lot
this
of money.
one. That's a lot. Now,
I mean,
personally,
I think it's a pretty good deal. Reading like the rundown of it, I mean, it says alcohol and non-alcoholic included, and then food. But I wonder if there's a limit on it. I think it's all you could eat. I think this
I think
is
so,
all you
too.
could eat
Disagree
and
with-
drink.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree with Jamie. I think price wise, it probably evens out in the wash when it comes to how many times you're going to go
Mhm.
and how much you're going to buy when you're
Yeah.
there. But at the same time, it's also one of those things. You pay that kind of price, you're going to have to eat everything, or at least you should, because you want to get your money's worth, right? That's the only thing I struggle with is like, I'm fat, so I'm going to pay $160, go to it, and then eat everything twice over because like, I want to make sure I get my money's worth. But I mean, we also don't. They haven't. Have they announced whether they're limiting how many items you get per person, or like?
I think it's more of a timed thing.
I think so, too.
It's almost like a
Gotcha.
challenge. Like, see how many fucking taters I can eat.
Well,
in
that's
30
why
minutes.
I ask because I mean I know we're joking about it. I know we're kind of joking about that, but like there are people that will try to take advantage of that, like paid 160 and then just feel like, well, I can devour everything there.
Yeah, and this
So
is
that.
yeah.
No,
It's
go
an
ahead.
advantage to get that first look. I get it's a good idea to if you do want to, and they did just announce this today that annual pass holders get 15% off from August 10th to August 16th.
Damn.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
It's a
and the
pretty good
dates
deal.
of this program are August 10th to the 26th. So if you want to get in early, like early, you can use your pass holder discount to kind of knock a little bit of change off that. And yeah, like I said, it's a little bit up there for me. I'm more just kind of wait and see. Like I get this way also with like pictures and going to the park. A lot of people go and like take pictures of all the props and stuff, and I see all that. But for me, I kind of like avoid the park in August. I haven't gone since the props came up, and I kind of like not going and not seeing these things in person until the event is like up and running and going. That's just like a personal thing for me. I find that I know I'm going to be there so often in September, October, and now November this year, but I just feel like I kind of want to just wait until it's official. Like I know I could like sneak a peek or I could sneak a taste of this and that. But for me, like I know I'm going to eat all or at least the majority of these things throughout the run of the event. So for me to pay that, premier price to kind of have that leg up and see it first and be the first to talk about it. Like I don't care. I'll eat it and I'll spend that amount, if not more, down the road once the event's up and running. But it is cool. I do like this program. This is a fun little thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea. I mean, it's for somebody, that's for sure. And I'm not saying that like I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. I'm probably not going to spend $160 on it, only because since I'm going all the time, we get frequent fear. I can try everything kind of like throughout the season. I think this is better for someone that's coming in, say maybe in August and isn't going to be able to come to the event proper and just wants to have that tasting, like that feeling of it a little bit, or maybe try some of the stuff, because they can't come here. But I mean, to me, it's like I really don't see the value in it, only from the perspective of someone that is going to have it, like, because we obviously live right around the corner from it. So to me, the question would be like, what is the value for someone that doesn't live here, that won't have freaking fear?
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely trying to capture that foodie.
Because this is supposed to be prior to the event, right? Or is this like throughout the event?
This is before the event. This is
right,
all.
So
This is like a preview of.
I think that's my point. Like, what is it like? I guess just my question would be like, what does it do for people? And I'm sure, again, y'all, you can explain it to me. I'd like to know like why someone else might have it at a higher value than I do. That's all.
I think it's for a lot of the foodies, the bloggers, the YouTubers to be, the first. It's kind of like when
I mean, that's probably
Minions
part of it
opened.
too.
It was
that's
like
true.
Get in there for them. Totally worth it. I get it, especially if you're primarily YouTube, like you're in a visual medium. Like this will get clicks. I get it, and I don't fault anybody for doing it. I prefer, like I said, more along the lines of like the props and scare zones that are already out. I kind of want to wait to see like what it's like when the sun is down and the lights are up and the fog is pumped, the way it was meant to be seen.
No, I agree with you. That's
kind of where I am on it.
Yep. Because this is just like in a room, right? It's just like a.
It's in soundstage 33. There must
it's
be
not
some
like
stuff
you're
going
previewing
on.
houses or anything.
No, just food, and some drinks.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think, and again, I don't want to get stuck in this. This is the first thing we're talking about. I guess
Here we go.
I'm just struggling to understand really where the value is for most people. And again, I'm not looking for an answer, but like if it's just so that like you said, like the YouTube community, like that would be one. I think that makes more sense to me than anything else. I like for just Joe, Joe Smith, some regular old park goer who happens to be a Horror Nights fan, like has come a couple times throughout the last few years. Like, why is that person going to spend $160? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think.
Where is Universal making real money on this? And maybe they're not. Maybe that's not the point. And look, that's fine. That's just where I'm stuck on. But whatever. We don't need to spend all night on it either.
I know. One last point.
I have one point too.
Okay, that you just said too. For me, is like they're kind of making money while training. I think this is more. I think this is a good idea, probably for the food service side of it, to be like, hey, how do we operate? And then like, hey, wait, we could just charge people to like come to our essentially training day or training week for our staff and be like, well, here you go. Here's how you cook the diarrhea burger.
Yeah, no, I that makes some sense. I didn't think of that, but again, that's kind of why you and I are so different. Like you come from that world, you both do, so I can understand
Jamie,
why you would do that.
What do you have on the old taste of terror?
So the only thing I wanted to mention, I know I was saying this is actually a really good deal. Personally, I probably won't be doing it because I'm a vegetarian. And I wanted to mention too, if you were thinking about doing this and you are a vegetarian as well, Horror Nights and Universal has been really good about implementing more like vegan, vegetarian dishes and stuff like that. But depending if they have the whole Horror Nights menu that they're going to have everything at the park, or depending if it's only going to be certain little items, I feel like there might not be a lot for it to eat.
Yeah, it's a good point.
For stuff like that too, unless you're really just wanting to go for like the drinks and stuff like that, because you get the freestyle cup and the blinky cup as well, which is pretty nice. But I just wanted to mention that too in case anyone was looking into it. I didn't see anything about it saying that there would be specific vegetarian options, but just wouldn't be worth it in my opinion, spending $160 and possibly eating multiples of the same thing.
Yeah, I'd assume the menu for this should be coming out soon, but let's move along. The Peacock Halloween Horror Bar. This is so far is very minimal as to what we know, But also, all they've said so far is that it is going to feature themed libations within a ominous nightclub vibe, and there is going to be photo opportunities and more. There is no exact location right now. I think the potential idea being thrown around is over by the Lombard Seafood Grill, and a little rumor that I saw circulating, and I saw the rumor, and I saw everyone saying that this was a rumor from a UK press event. I found no press event. I don't know where this stuff came from, so this could be completely nonsense.
Is Gary over at
RIP?
RIP spreading rumors.
I don't know where this came from. I don't know where this came from.
I know you're listening.
If
it's coming from a UK press event, it sounds kind of fishy. Just saying.
Yeah. Fishy seafood grill.
Get it? Make it funny.
David S. Pumpkins could be at this horror bar, which makes sense.
Not the actual David S. Pumpkins.
Not Tom Hanks.
Not Tom Hanks. Although that would be great. And my dogs are barking. Hold on. Continue. I'm gonna mute until they're done.
But yes, David S. Pumpkins makes sense. Peacock, SNL. David S. Pumpkins was in a Bill and Ted show, I believe, at 2017, so it's not a completely unprecedented appearance. But I mean, this is right up my alley. I've talked about David S. Pumpkins a lot.
That would be amazing.
It's just so outrageous. All you need is one character in the little orange suit. I have a David S. Pumpkin sticker on my desk right now that I'm rubbing for good luck in hopes that he is going to be making his way, because
this podcast just got spicy.
Because he's his own thing. And the skeletons.
Rubbing stickers and stuff.
They're part of it.
Honestly, I mean, overall, this is a great idea. I've been saying to myself, I'm like, why don't they do something like that? Like, not have like an actual like nightclub, but give us like not gonna complain too much about the drink offerings, because they do a really good job of offering different types of drinks, but they don't really. There really isn't that one like spot where you can kind of just go and chill, have a drink. I mean, outside of maybe going into Finnegan's, but Finnegan's, I think, do they shut down after the event starts? They don't, right? They're still open. So, I mean, that's one place, but that's still pretty brightly lit. Very much gets you out of the Halloween feeling of it. Like, why haven't they opened up some sort of like, if not completely enclosed, like just like some outdoor music spot? Like, think about like this. I always imagined like something like the Rob Zombie Scare Zone with like drinks specific, like you get specifically there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and make it more of like a nightclubby type feel. Not to say that they could like age gate it, but at least it'd be a cool kind of like vibe. And it's a place where you can get all the different drinks that they're serving, rather than just having that one spot that's over by Mel's. That's kind of just there to serve, mixed drinks.
Yeah, this is very. I hope the direction that they kind of go with this, and maybe in future years, Hallow Scream in Orlando at SeaWorld does a great job of having larger themed bars.
So much fun.
I think this is something
this is
that
probably a
HHN
direct shot. Yeah, it's a shot against the bow.
Could kind of been like, we can do that. So hopefully this
that makes sense.
But
which
Jamie,
is why I'm surprised. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, Jamie, you've done the bars obviously with me at Hallow Scream, but what do you think? This could work well at Horror Nights.
I think so too. I think it would be really fun to have it there. I really love the whole, because I mean the pop-up bars are convenient and stuff like that, but it's just nice to have, like Seamus was saying, it's nice to have somewhere to go into with like a cool vibe, like you said, the same thing too, kind of have like a little like age gap on it thing. But I think it'd be really fun. Do I think David S. Pumpkins is going to be there? Nick really likes David S. Pumpkins, so I don't want to hate on him, but I'm not a big fan like him.
It's okay. We're not all.
I wouldn't be disheartened.
We're not all Pumpkins fans. I'm just saying.
We're not.
But no,
all,
right.
But I am curious to see what they would have there, like if they would have like characters or like themes from different like Peacock originals or something, or just different horror movies or what. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that Peacock is the sponsor and have nothing to do with it. But at the same time, like it would sound, or it sounds as if they'll put some effort into it. So like when we talk like get the nightclub vibe, like they'll probably have like a DJ. They'll have like some like horror themed, maybe some horror movie themes, but turn them into like more clubby songs and that sort of thing, and have some of the characters hanging out. You can get like obviously pictures with them and stuff like that. I mean, it'll be a nice one of those one of the, like we always talk about, like they need to add things
Yeah.
that will break up some of the weight. So like I think if you add something like this gives an excuse for people to kind of hang out somewhere. I think they've gotten
Might
better.
be a little dangerous though. It might be hanging out there all night.
Well, I mean, I would assume there's probably going to be a time limit on it. Like you walk in, and they may time how long you can be
That's
in there at
true.
once. I think that's what they'll do, and it would make sense, or at least limit how many drinks you can buy. Like maybe they'll tag you when you walk in, like you do an actual nightclub, and like
Yeah.
they'll mark on your tag like how many drinks you've had, and then that way when you hit a certain point, that's all you can get.
I act like such a big drinker. I'm gonna have like 2
Yeah, I
drinks.
mean, again, well, that's just it. Like, I don't think Universal runs into that issue too often,
Yeah.
so I don't think it's going to be a massive issue. But I think they'll do something to kind of like break it up and keep people from kind of just standing in there from park open to park close.
Mm-hmm.
But I either way, I'm glad they're trying it. They definitely need to do this. Like I've said, I'm surprised that they haven't been the ones to kind of like be the front runners with this type of stuff. Like it took like SeaWorld doing it for them to be like, this is like what we want to do now too. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm relatively excited to see what they do with this because I think this could grow into maybe even more.
All right, moving on from David S. Pumpkins. Any questions? Why did they go all in on David S. Pumpkins? Because he's amazing. All right, Dead Coconut Club. Again, something with very minimal announcements other than the fact that the Red Coconut Club will once again become the Dead Coconut Club with a new theme and menu this year. That is something we have not done. That might be something we have to check out at some point.
I didn't do it last year either.
Yeah, I've always avoided it. It's always, from what I always saw, it was like harder to get in. It was kind of had weird hours. Private parties would constantly be renting it out. So I never scheduled it. I think this year we'll have to change that. We'll have to go check out this spot because it always looks cool.
It looks super cool.
Yeah,
Just
we'll have to pick like
it.
a specific night and say, hey, let's all meet up at there, have a few drinks there, and then go do a few houses.
Yeah,
head over.
Do one of those deals.
All right, moving to Chucky's Twisted Playground. So Chucky's Twisted Playground will be a photo illusion experience at Universal's Cabana Bay.
Right, I heard about this.
Yep, so it is another pose for photos kind of deal. This is a combo of USA and sci-fi TV series. It will feature uniquely scary photo opportunities and is exclusive to guests of any Universal Orlando Resort hotel. Your hotel room key is required for entry. There are going to be... So that's kind of the Chucky's Twisted Playground. There are going to be special themed drinks at various spots. So the Spooky Swizzle Lounge is going to be at Cabana Bay. The Spooky Sunset Lounge is going to be at Universal's Endless Summer Resort, Dockside Inn and Suites. And then the last of the, let's call this hotel talk, I guess, is there's going to be a Universal Monsters Gallery of Legends. Now, the other 6 Universal Orlando hotels are going to have sort of a photo hunt to find the different Universal Monster photo opportunities. They are in the lobby. Seems like a pretty easy hunt, but I guess the idea is to go around to the various hotels and get in the lobby and grab pictures with these, hopefully statues, hopefully not just cardboard cutouts, these little monsters, but yeah, so that is the Universal Monsters Gallery of Legends. So again, something we tend to not do. We all live close enough. We never have to really have to stay on property. So stuff I probably won't experience, and I don't ever feel the need to experience this stuff, but it's there. If you are listening and you are traveling, it's a nice little bonus for you because it does sound fun, but for someone that lives local, I don't feel the need to spend money to stay 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah, this is definitely for those guests coming from out of state. Now, I'm not saying that like people wouldn't take advantage of it that are local. I mean, it would be fun, but I think just in the situation that at least I'm in right now, it wouldn't be something I could do. But it's cool that they're actually including the hotels. Did they do this last year or is this brand new?
They had a form of this last year, again, with the Universal Monsters. So they do theme stuff up a little bit, and they kind of kick back a little bit to the resort. So I think
which is a good deal. And again, it's one of those things too, which will keep, I think we'll keep the event somewhat, it'll help with some wait times because people want to go back to the hotels and hang out in some of these areas and not spend every night till 2 a.m. at the theme park. So it'll help control some of that as well. It just gives people more options, really.
Yeah. So we are kind of making our way into the park a little bit. The first thing we will talk about is the tribute store. We got a confirmation and we got a little bit of insight as to what this tribute store is going to look like. So the tribute store is going to be back in New York. So this is where the Mardi Gras store, this is where all the previous tribute stores have been.
The other tribute store location.
Yeah. The tribute store is going to be themed as a quote unquote mysterious New York City comic book shop where guests can experience the tribute to terror by stepping into the pages of this original terrifying horror comic book. I think it is going to be very Tales from the Crypt-ish.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like going way back to the first couple of events. That's really cool. I'm excited for that.
Love this. I love this theming.
Yeah, I think we all agree on
comic
that.
book shop.
I knew we'd all be on the same page.
Oh, fuck yeah. Seamus, this will excite you even more. Skipper Haas has posted that
very nice.
They work with them on some sort of art design, stuff like that. So they've had their hands in on the design and creation of some aspects of the store, I believe.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super, super cool. So, I mean,
I've got a few of his posters.
It's a win-win for everything.
Yep. No, that's cool. I'm excited. I think it kind of, we both kind of agreed that I think that they had only moved the tribute store so they could do some renovations in that building. I have a feeling that when we get there and we see it for the first time, it's going to be a lot different than we're used to. I think they probably opened up the rooms a little bit, maybe, or changed the configuration. Maybe just kind of did some, better renovation. Maybe it'll be a bigger store than it was before. Who knows?
I hope it's all black and white, or at least one part of it.
I want it like super comic booky, neon lights, like.
It probably will be, but like one little black and white section would be cool.
And we don't exactly have like a whole lot to go back on, anyways, because none of us were there for the first event. So it's like it'll be interesting to kind of see it from our perspective. So I'm excited. I really that's cool. I'm glad that they're going to do something with that and probably give us some history at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very, very fun. And this kind of makes sense, too, because when you think about the location that it's in right now, the Jurassic Park, one thing that they do not have in that is those little buy your picture to have it on the wall kind of deal. And that's just such a easy source of income for Horror Nights. Just such a little, even the Christmas store one, too. So by having it in the other location, it kind of abandoned that. Bringing it back there will open up the opportunity, and I'm willing to bet that your picture will be on the cover of a comic book, and it'll look like a bunch of comic book covers slapped along that little hallway that we usually take.
Probably, yep.
All right, so I have the rundown in front of me. That is a lot of information out there. We are now going to get into the scare zones and the houses. So if you want, let's start with the scare zones first, just because I think that these are things we could probably talk about a little bit more because we had less ideas of exactly what this was. So, Jamie, do you want to start on the very first scare zone? Do you have the rundown for us?
Mm-hmm. Just read the little...
start the little blurb, and then we'll kind of discuss these as we go along. And cool. There's one interesting thing that I'm just very, very stoked about with all these scare zones.
Yeah. So the first one I'm going to be talking about, which I'm very excited about, I'm excited about all of them, but especially this one, is Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horror. Dr. Oddfellow will lure you into Halloween Horror Nights with the promise of immortality. As he lifts the veil on all the horrors to come, you'll soon realize you may not even survive the night.
Yeah, so a good little entrance to the park. This is they're definitely owning the fact of like, hey, we are, this is sort of a introduction to the event. This is these are creatures from the different zones you are going to see, and this is how it all ties it together. We have seen the big old truss go up recently in the park from pictures. It does look like there's a little like catwalk of sorts above it. It would be very cool to have Dr. Oddfellow on top of that, above the guests with a mic, yelling down to them, or even if they do audio work over it, as long as it's not, just farting and burping of Pumpkin Lord, I would enjoy that, walking back and forth. Maybe, I mean, he could have like a little fog gun or something like that to like really step it up. This excites me to an extent. I like the contents of it. I just know that zone as of late has sort of been a letdown. It's kind of just a throwaway. It's just characters you're going to see at other zones thrown in there. But if they can do something a little bit special, like if we had this zone last year, if Pumpkin Lord was the true Pumpkin Lord that we knew and loved from Wicked Growth, I would have liked that zone a lot more. But because it became such a joke, it was like, I don't even want to go buy this guy anymore right now. Like, I love the image, I love this, but like the prompts are just whatever. So it's really going to come down to Oddfellow and how he is presented in this zone. That's for me what this zone is going to be all about.
I agree. I mean, I really wouldn't just, I would just reiterate what you just said. I think that, unfortunately, I think it's just the nature of the beast of being where it is. Like, that's going to be kind of what that zone is. Like, you're going to get a flavor of the event as you first come into the park. But I'm excited. I mean, I know you haven't really kind of explained why all the scare zones are kind of cool, but I think you'll get it as we go through them.
Seamus, you want to grab that next one?
Yeah. So again, I haven't. Have they put a map out? Do we know where these are? Like, as far as like, obviously we know where one of them is, but either way, is this where Sweets was?
Supposedly, this is where, like, why can't I think of that name? Graveyard.
This is a graveyard. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hollywood.
That makes sense. Well, either way, this one is called Dark Zodiac. And the description we got is Dr. Oddfellow. Interesting. Has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who foretold your doom. As his star rises, yours falls. So we're getting Dark Zodiac. I know we had talked about it a few times on the spec maps. We are actually going to get something from one of the other parks and not just Hollywood. So this one comes from Singapore, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yes, so that's where
Singapore?
it originally came from. It seemed like when they talked about this, they haven't ever really mentioned the fact that this wasn't from Singapore, because I think they want to not necessarily avoid it, but like they want to tie this into the Dr. Oddfellow story, whereas that one didn't. So it's kind of like, we're just going to, take something similar, but not really bring up the fact that it was elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited because I think we'll get our own flavor of it. It won't be exactly what they got, but it's nice that they're actually starting to kind of involve some of the stuff from parks other than the US based parks. And that's what I've asked them to do. I've really wanted that to happen. So I'm excited for this one. I think they're going to be able to do some really cool, unique, original characters and creatures. And I think tell a decent story, which is hard to do with scare zones.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be that photo oppy zone. The characters are going to be larger than life. I think this is going to be
sure.
These grotesque Zodiac figures, and as you can see with this first description of this zone, the direction that they're going that we love is the fact that Dr. Oddfellow has his hands in every single little zone. It ties it all together. No matter how far-fetched it seems, it's a part of his story. So in the Dark Zodiac, we're going to talk about the Zodiac a little bit, the power of the Zodiac in the Dr. Oddfellow house. But this is a good kind of, peek behind the curtains into that small aspect of the house. This is going to be what this power is. These creatures, somehow he's harnessing it, and that's kind of one of the things that I'm really excited about with this. Any other thoughts on Dark Zodiac before we move along? No? All right, so let's move to Jungle of Doom. Now, I will go through this one. This one is in the 1920s. Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creations are running amok and are coming after you. So this is kind of what we were thinking originally. This is sort of, some sort of mutation. He's playing literally a doctor, in his mind. Whether he's stitching them together, whether he's, transferring one animal part to another animal part, we're going to get little hybrids. This is kind of what we were asking for. This has me a lot more excited than just like what we have talked about previously. Like, just don't take the easy way out. Don't do just a typical boring little jungle thing. This is kind of what we were looking for. So does this definition kind of excite you guys a little bit more?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Hello?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Got
You're good.
I had to come back in. I think you guys lost me
Oh,
for a second
maybe.
back there, but
You
I
were
came
kinda
back.
quiet.
I came back. It's okay. I thought so because Nick was like, "Any other
Yeah,
comments?" And it was
I
quiet,
noticed.
and I was like, "Oh, I guess, I guess y'all didn't hear
I
me."
noticed that, and I was texting you, and then I saw that you went offline. I was like, she figured it out.
I did. Sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties.
But yeah, so Jungle of Doom Expedition Horror. This is a perfect spot
Super
for
cool.
it. It really is.
Oh yeah.
I hope that they execute it as well as they've done some past ones. Maybe not the most recent past, but we've seen some really good zones in this area. I think it's been a little bit lesser than in the past year, but I'm hoping that this is something that they kind of correct and really knock it out of the park.
I think they will. I think it has great potential. I really like that they're using the animal kind of experiments gone wrong and stuff like that. I think it'll look really cool with the scarecrow scare zone last year, Cursed Soil. I thought it was really cool. All the different, like the crow person, the pig, the what else did they have? Like the dog, the wolf looking guy. I just like all those kind of like animal creatures. So I think it'll be really fun to see some of these.
I want a
ones.
liger. I want a mutated liger.
It's pretty much my favorite
Yeah,
animal.
it's pretty much my favorite animal. All right. Jamie, do you want to take the next one? I know this is your bread and butter.
I was just saying the other one was gonna be, I was really excited for it, but this one I'm really excited for, and I'm glad I get to talk about it. So this is gonna be Vamp 69 Summer of Blood. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, you'll jam to popular bands with fellow concertgoers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood. So this is going to be in the New York area where Sweet Revenge was last year. I think this is a great spot for it. This is where they had Vamp 85 before. They already have the big stage setup that I know a lot of pictures have been on Twitter. A lot of people have seen it. Unfortunately, I haven't been to the park to see it myself. Unlike Nick, I love going to the park during the day to see all the props being set up because you don't really get to see some of those details at nighttime, and I think it's pretty cool seeing everything set up. But they have the stage set up, they have a guitar out there, they have a couple drums, they have the big backdrop, so I'm really excited to see this one come to fruition. I love the vamps. I love that Dr. Oddfellow is going to be putting his twist on it. I'm interested to see if he's going to be kind of their ringleader, kind of like making a presence on stage, and they're all going to come to him and perform. I'm just really excited to see how this one pans out.
Yeah. So one little thing we didn't mention yet, they kind of went into this in the Discover Universal podcast, is that Dr. Oddville is sort of a shapeshifter. If you saw in the design of him, he's got a little scar going down his eye. And there will be characters in each of these zones, and you have to find them, sort of a little Easter egg hunt. A character will have a scar, and that is Dr. Oddfellow. So he's kind of hiding in plain sight.
That's fun. I must
That's
have been
cool.
sleeping for that part of the podcast in the car.
Probably were.
That's fun. I really like that, actually.
So I forget the names. They gave him a name. He will be playing a character in the zone, and he is the one that's sort of putting it together and stuff like that.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the zone. It's getting me excited. Like I said, I see the pictures, so I'm not like avoiding them. It's not completely spoiler because I know what's going to be there, and obviously we're going to be talking about it. But like seeing it in person, it doesn't do much for me. But from the pictures I've seen, like they put out a giant like hippie school bus today. They had some motorcycles with the little hangers on there.
Don't tell me I'm missing
You're
everything.
missing it. You're missing.
Oh,
they put a
God.
rug.
That's it.
Out.
I'm calling off work tomorrow.
But I just can't wait to see what songs they're gonna be banging through this. I mean, you get some some Van Morrison, some Beach Boys. I mean, Aretha Franklin. Like you got everything. It's gonna be pumping. Some Beatles coming out through there. Like, here comes the sun.
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Seamus, what do you think about the Vamp 69 Summer of
Yeah, I'm
Blood?
excited. I mean, again, it wasn't exactly the era that I was hoping for, but I'm down for it because I haven't done the other two vamps, so it'll be kind of cool to get a feel for what those were like too. So I think it'll be better. It'll be more exciting for those who have done the other eras. So you'll have something to look back at and kind of compare it to. But maybe that'll be better for me because I won't really know what to expect.
Yeah. Groovy, man. Far out.
Maybe
All
we
right.
get maybe we get Bill and Ted vampires.
Maybe. Seamus, you want to finish off our little scare zones?
Yeah, sure. So our last scare zone is over in the San Francisco area by the Jaws. This one's called Shipyard 32 Horrors Unhinged. And what they describe this one as is you're entering a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. Beware, his nightmarish oddities, have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos in their wake. So this is going to be like an old shipping yard. So they'll have a bunch of like crates and like things that are like piled up, and they'll have like his symbol on it, which is kind of cool. And it'll be a bunch of like they say nightmarish oddities, so whatever that means, what kind of creatures this would be.
Yeah.
But it sounds kind of like it'll be one of those deals you kind of just walk through. It'll be fog, things will jump out at you. Probably won't have any type of show element to it, but who knows? You never know.
Yeah, I can't imagine a show. I don't know. Maybe, probably not. One thing again that they pointed out on the Discovery Universal podcast was that some of these creatures are going to be creatures of the past of HHN. That Dr. Oddfellow was seemingly behind all the time. They're kind of retconning some stories. So what those creatures are, we will find out in the fog. But you might see some creatures from past HHN houses, and then you can look back and be like, oh, Dr. Oddfellow was doing this all along. So it's kind of cool that he kind of had his hands in past events. While we were here, before we get into the true meat and potatoes, that's what people come here for, is the houses. Let's just hit the show real quick because they did announce Nightmare Fuel will be returning. This is Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. And the show that sparked your darkest dreams has reignited. Let your nightmares burn out of control as the pyro and aerial performers fire you up to the beat of metal and electronica. So same thing. I have heard that what they've referred to it as there's a new dreamer and a new dream. So what I'm hoping is that it is I know the show can only change so much, right? There's going to be dancers. There's going to be the fire girls. There's going to be the acrobats, the sense of magic. I get that is all there, but I hope that the dream is vastly different. I love the show. I loved the first one. The second one was very fun, but it was the same show. And I'm hoping that was more because like the first iteration of it was that COVID year. Not all of the performers could be there. In the second year, they were like, here's our main show. This is what was supposed to be last year. So I'm hoping that this year, the third year in a row, I'm hoping that not only is it just a different dreamer, I'm hoping it is a much different dream with a different storyline, so to speak. You can do some of the same tricks, but prep it differently and theme it differently. That's my hope out of this.
Yeah,
I really like the Nightmare Fuel show. I didn't mind that it was kind of similar last year. Maybe that's because I rewatch stuff all the time anyway, so I don't mind in that aspect. But I do like it, and I'm interested to see if they're going to use some of the same stunts or whatever, kind of like how they had the intro with the bed scene and stuff like that. I wonder if they're going to be doing some of the same stuff, or is it going to be completely different. I'm interested to see what it'll be. But always excited for this one. It's fun to kind of take a little chill break, go watch the show, hang out. Although it's kind of a pain getting in and out with all the millions of people sardined in, but once you're in there, it's fun.
It is a big old batch of hot, sweaty, black t-shirts, stinky people.
I would like to see this show. I mean, I don't think I got to see the second one, so I want to see this one. So
I mean, by not seeing the second one, you did not miss anything. It was the same show. There was maybe one or two different little things. There was a guy on a big, circle wheel thing that kind of swung around. It was like a big hula hoop. That was kind of the biggest difference. First show for me was I loved it, but yeah, it could definitely use a upgrade of sorts. So that is that we have our stage show. There's only that stage show. So I'm assuming that we'll get a sort of mini stage show in the Vamp 69 zone because the stage is set up. But as of now, there's no other like show. So we'll maybe see something in future years. So let's get into the houses because they announced a lot. They gave us a lot of on this podcast that they did with all the creators behind the scenes stuff. They gave us a lot of in-depth stuff. Some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, they forewarned it on their podcast. We'll kind of forewarn it a little bit here that some of the stuff we will discuss are sort of spoilery-ish. It's very minimal stuff as to what is in the house. It is more along the lines of storyline stuff that I personally like to know when I'm going into the house so I can feel the story a little bit more. But if you do not wish to hear the stories and that in-depth stuff, then I guess you can kind of skip along. But we are going to be talking about all of the stuff that we can find so far on these. So I'll just kick it off. The first one that got announced before the big drop, I guess this was the little drop before the drop. This is the pre-drop to the big drop. The Exorcist Believer. So we are getting the new film, which does not come out till October 13th, as a house at Horror Nights. This was done with a final trailer, I guess, for the Horror Nights. We got to meet the kid on the iPhone. He found a little doll. He touched it. He became possessed. Other than that, yeah, I don't really follow the trailers much because, like I said, we were on vacation, we were driving, and there was a lot of information to look out for. So I watched it very briefly. It's fine, whatever. The tagline, an evil reawakened. So 2 girls go missing and they have been found with no memory of what happened to them. But wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film, which you will have not seen yet, unless you came to the event after October 13th. So I saw the trailer for this movie. I watched it once before Oppenheimer, and I thought it was whatever. I don't think for me, it doesn't do anything different than, The Exorcist of Emily Rose, The Exorcist, The Pope's Exorcist, whatever little Exorcist movie you want to watch. They are very rarely different from one another. It is the same beat after beat after beat. Possession films don't do it for me. They just bore me. It's same.
A hard movie anyways to really not remake, but do another version of it or another installment of it. I mean, Exorcist itself, the original Exorcist, is such a classic that I don't know. I mean, let's be honest, Blumhouse doesn't hit on everything either. Like some other movies don't always hit. So, I mean, this is better than a Megan House, right?
Yeah.
So we can't really complain too much.
Yeah, it is a little confusing that they are going to go the route of unreleased movie.
That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, on the Discover Universal podcast, they said that this is a very intense house, this is a gross house, and this is a very creepy house. So I think they will do a lot with the little girls aspect of it. I mean, little children are terrifying, always. Even if they're not possessed, they're terrifying. But we, as the guests, are being pursued by this entity. And at one point, supposedly, we are going to go to the other side of reality. So we're kind of going to go to maybe the demons aspect. I hate to say the upside down, but I guess that's from listening to them, the way I took it, where it's like the alternate reality. So, I mean, it's tough to gauge this house. For me, it's probably at or close to the bottom just because I have not seen it. And even if it were just The Exorcist, it would still be in that same spot because of, if they did the original, there's only so much you can do with that movie. It's the room and it's the stairs. Cool, you're done. With this, there's probably a lot of cool scenes. I mean, but we just don't know what they are yet. And it does seem a little cheap that I'm going to be spoiled from this movie. I might not even see the movie. If I go through the house, I might not need to see it. So
I won't see it in theaters anyways. It'll be one of those
You sound
movies
like
that
me
I'll
now.
wait until it's on streaming and watch it that way.
Yeah. So I guess what are your final thoughts on The Exorcist Believer coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2023?
I don't hate it, but I'm very shocked. I was talking about it on Twitter with a couple people. I'm just really surprised that they're actually doing it. Like you said, to drop a house before a
Yeah,
movie and
I don't
dropped
hate
is
it
just
either.
a crazy concept to me. But I think I would have been a little more taken back if it was the original Exorcist because I didn't get to go through that house in the previous years. And obviously, it's an iconic film and all that kind of stuff, and it'd be really cool to see it. But same thing, like you said, Nick, it's kind of hard to pick so many different scenes from that because there isn't really too much to choose from other than the main ones that people are like very familiar with. But the trailer that I watched for this, I didn't hate it. I actually thought it was pretty creepy, honestly. And I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. I have no idea what it's going to be like, obviously, because the movie hasn't came out, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I think the movie's gonna be fine, but at the same time,
Hmm.
it is weird that we're getting a house before it, and I don't know if it's because was the movie pushed back in some way? Were they trying to get it out? Like I can't imagine that a movie studio cares what a horror
Yeah.
event's
Yeah.
doing, but yeah, it is kind of like a I don't know. I feel like if it's Universal, like I don't, you wouldn't try to find something else, but then again, maybe I don't know. It's
Maybe
just
they had to deal with
yeah,
them when it was supposed to come out
probably
before.
maybe, but it's just I don't know. It's weird. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? There's a very good chance too that they're not going to give away anything really movie related. It's going to be like adjacent to the movie, but not like
That's
anything
true.
specific from the movie itself. So maybe that's kind of the route they're taking with it, which I think is a better idea than just saying, "Hey, here's a bunch of scenes from a movie you haven't seen yet." Um, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's, hey, here's a different story and kind of like the same universe and kind of ties into the movie a little bit. So that way, when you see the movie, you're like, oh, okay, I recognize some of this stuff.
Yeah. I do think that the deal with Blumhouse is one of the main reasons we're getting this. I think if this were just a
Yeah.
Exorcist movie or whatever, I think this would have gone the way of Evil Dead Rise, be like, oh, okay, it pushed back. It's out of, obviously this is still coming out during the event. Evil Dead Rise got pushed way past it. But I think if this was not a Blumhouse film, that's what would have happened. It would have been a redone house. This would have been flipped into an original, and then they would have said, "Cool, we'll see you maybe next year." Who knows? We'll catch you down the road. But I think because of the connection with Blumhouse, is obviously a clear history between the two. They have a good partnership. They were willing to take the gamble on this one.
Hey, it's a good publicity media
Yeah, I mean
strategy.
it is. I mean
Marketing.
it is
Marketing.
free.
That's what I
It
was trying to
is.
look
Well, I don't
for.
want to say free marketing, because I'm sure they paid for it, but
Right.
yes, nonetheless, it's going to get people into theaters. Probably, I they might not push me there, but
Definitely.
who wants to take the next one?
What are we working with here? I could do the next
Yep.
one.
All right.
All right, so the next one up on the list is Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. So the little tagline for this one is Chucky's back for even more carnage. Chucky the serial killer doll is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. So Chucky, we've said in the past, I think we all kind of have that same basis on that with Chucky. We're not huge fans of Chucky, but I don't hate him, but like I said, he's not my favorite. So pretty excited for this house. I'm surprised that they didn't go the route of doing the series, which is what I thought they were doing originally. But this seems like they're kind of leaning towards a just Chucky house in itself and maybe not going by the series, but I could be wrong. Do you know about that, Nick?
Yeah, a little bit. So the stuff that I did pick up about this got
Mhm.
me much more excited for this house.
Mhm.
The thing I was nervous about was the whole, okay, it's going to Fast and Furious. We are very clearly going to do a season 1 split, a season 2 split. That does not seem to be what is happening. So the idea of this is that, and it's super meta. This is the part that kind of excites me, is that Halloween Horror Nights is doing a Chucky house, and they have invited Chucky to come check it out. When he gets there, he's like, this is fake. Nobody's dying. So Chucky takes over the house and starts killing people. So that's the
I
part
like
that
it.
kind of excites me, where Chucky is sort of taking possession of people inside the house and turning it into, what you just said, a gore fest. So we may see some of the kills from the series, maybe the kind of a
Mhm.
best of, but I do really like this aspect, and maybe the way they'll play it is like that part 1, sort of where Freaky was. It's kind of like the house set up, and you can, when you're walking through, you hear the voice of Chucky, like, oh, that's fake over there. And then like the second part is the aspect where Chucky has taken over and he is actually murdering all these people.
I'm usually not a huge fan of the meta-based stuff, but that actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so this one is just, it's interesting me a little bit more. What do you think on that, Seamus?
Yeah, it's to me it almost sounds like Chucky's Saw, like he's Jigsaw. Like he's gonna send you through a whole bunch of different like traps and things like that in each room, and you're gonna have to like escape each like trap or whatever you want to call it. You say in Gorefest. I mean, it won't be just a bunch of little Chuckies running around. There'll be like I think different things that he's kind of like set up, and that's kind of what it sounds like to me, anyways. I hate the name Ultimate Kill Count. I hate the name so much.
Reminds me of
I
Zombieland.
can't stand it. Like I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just something about it. It just like it just sounds so cheesy. Like
Yeah, it does. It definitely sounds a little cheesy, but it does get me.
Ultimate Kill Count.
It does get me a little bit more excited than I was previously, versus just like a Child's Play Chucky House. Like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of him, so it is what it is. But this, it adds a little bit of a twist to it. It's a little bit different. It is not just a walkthrough of season 1 and then season 2. So for that, I am a little bit more excited. I don't think it's like at the top of my list, but it's got movement a little bit. It's got a heartbeat. Seamus, you want to tackle the next one?
Yeah, you would give me this one. So
I say
I know.
this one for
I
you,
get it. It's
Seamus.
fine. So the next one is obviously Universal Monsters Unmasked, is what they call it. I would have rather them just call it Universal Monsters Paris, but whatever, it's fine. So the tagline is 4 Universal Monsters, 1 new nightmare. So we're right back to combining, one house with 17 monsters. Like, 'cause this is what people want. This is what people want, Universal. No, I mean, I will say I'm excited. So it's described as descend into the Paris catacombs. Already got me. Where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters: Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man. So yeah, it's another Monsters house. We knew this was coming. We knew this is going to be kind of a thing every year. But thank Christ it's not Dr. Acula, Wolfie, and
He'll pop out in the
Mr.
catacombs. Don't worry.
Mr. Medical Rap. No, I mean, you're probably right. They probably will show up in some way. They're like, oh, don't worry. Dr. Druck is always like,
I'll be back.
Dr. Acula is always leaking in the shadows. Like, he'll always be there. It's like, yeah, well, I know, because people don't want to leave a dead thing dead. But either way, no, I'm excited because this is actually going to be something different. We're not going to get the same tired monsters that we get all the time. I mean, obviously it's kind of like, they had to do like Frankenstein, had to do those main baddies first because they're like the big ones, but we're finally getting something different and a little underground, literally. So I think that's kind of cool. We're going to get like that whole descending underground feel. They're going to do a lot of those tricks with the house. That'll be interesting. I'm a little surprised by the Invisible Man because I don't know how he ties in, but hey, I'll take it. It's fine. I would have been fine if it was just like the Phantom and Hunchback, but either way. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the story comes across better than last year, but I don't know. I guess we won't really know again until we experience it. So what do you guys? I know Nick called the Jekyll and Hyde thing a while ago, so kind of interested to see where your head is at with this and what you think. Are you excited for this more so or less so?
I am more excited for this one. I think I'm more excited for this one than I was the last one. The Invisible Man, like you said, very questionable. I think this house, I don't think it adds to it. I don't think it detracts from it, but it does seem like an odd choice to throw him in there. It seems like just because. I would think it was hysterical if he was actually not in there at all, but he was actually there because he's invisible. I think that'd be a really good play, but they will never do that. But it does seem a little tricky. Even the little image that they posted, the picture of the logo or whatever, Invisible Man's kind of just like in the background. He's just kind of like, he's just chilling.
I love him.
Like he just came along for the ride. It's like the friend that like, Jekyll and Hyde, Phantom, and Hunchback made plans, and then like Invisible Man kind of walked up, kind of like Superbad with like McLovin. Like he just kind of like chicka chicka yeah, just shows up and he's like, oh fuck, all right,
Yeah,
come
I
on,
was gonna
Invisible
say
Man.
this is like their wolf pack, and he's the Zach Galifianakis character.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, who let the
We
dogs
fucked
out?
up.
Who? And everyone's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stupid
Hey
Invisible
guys,
Man.
we
But
fucked up.
but yeah, that's how it feels to me. I think obviously we're kind of in Phantom's domain. We're in Hunchback's like backyard, and the other two are Jekyll and Hyde, close enough to make sense. Invisible Man will be curious how he ties in, but I'm excited for this. These are the backseat characters. These aren't the marquee monsters for some, but for some, this is some of their favorites. And I mean, if you had just a Phantom house, people would flock to it and probably say it's their favorite. So the fact that you're including him, you're including Hunchback and Jekyll and Invisible Man and Hyde, I'm very excited for that. I think this is a very refreshing take on a Universal Monsters house for me. And I do enjoy the other ones. They like we kind of hit on a little bit. The last year's story kind of got a little convoluted and it was just a little messy. But this, as long as they keep the story semi basic, I think it'll work fine.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this rendition of Monsters. I think it'll be really cool. I think it's probably going to be one of my favorites, honestly, just by the way everything's been described and the characters that they have. Although Creature is my favorite monster, Creature from Black Lagoon, I do really like Invisible Man a lot, and I think it's really funny that he's going to be in the house. And I think he's going to have some. Honestly, I think he'll probably have some of the best scares in the house because they're probably going to have him pinned somewhere where you can't see him, and then he's going to pop out at you. And I think I'm interested to see. Yeah, right. I'm interested to see how they do his costuming and stuff like that too.
I think honestly, now that you say that, that may honestly be one of the more interesting things about this is how they're going to pull him off. I bet you there's going to be some really cool tricks with his costuming and really kind of get you like it's not just going to be a bunch of him wrapped up like a mummy. Like they'll do things where like they kind of like with the sleeves look empty. And like they'll find ways of doing it, which I think are going to be really cool to see up close. So I'm excited about that. So everybody who thinks I'm a hater, just so you know, this will not be the bottom of my hype list. Obviously,
we put Seamus in Monsters Recovery.
No, I'm excited. I 100% being totally honest, I am actually pretty excited about this one. So
this is definitely the ugly.
That makes me happy.
Monster house. This is the Uggos. The people that need the masks, and we're ripping them off of them. So let's move along to, I think this is our first technically original that we're going to be getting into tonight, and that is Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. Your soul is a price he's willing to pay. I'm not sure I'm willing to pay, but I guess as long as he is, that's fine. You won't be able to resist going inside Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities, but the price for you and your friends is steep. The cost of your souls to feed his immortal power. So I think before we discuss this, we should jump into the information that we got from the Discovery Universal pod. This is 1920s based. This is the Dust Bowl era. And we're not really just going to Dr. Oddfellow's circus. This isn't just like a little Killer Clowns thing where a tent pops up and we're like, we're kind of entering through the side, and as soon as we get in there, we quickly realize that this is not a real circus. There's people being murdered, and Dr. Oddfellow is there essentially just collecting souls through the power of the Zodiac. See, comes back around to the Zodiac Zone, and this is like the aspect he's just using us to harvest our souls so he can remain immortal. At this point in time, he is still in possession of the Cane of Souls, which Jack the Clown has in present day inherited. They did say that a special clown will be in this house to a certain extent. There is a scene where this house takes place on the night that Dr. Oddfellow kills Jack. And this is the night where they both became immortal because Oddfellow's been collecting souls. He has the Cane of Souls. His blood is immortal. During the fight, they're scratching, they're fighting, they're stabbing, whatever. And Oddfellow's blood drips into Jack's blood, which makes Jack immortal once their blood is combined. So sort of like a kind of like how Morbius became a little bat boy or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited. I like the theming. I like the era. I like that we're going to get some backstory on Dr. Oddfellow, who is not really a character that people were like harping for. This is a very unique pick. Obviously, if you're very in on the icons and in on Jack, I'm sure you've heard the story and you've heard the name Dr. Oddfellow. I don't think anybody was like, we need a Dr. Oddfellow house. We need explanation of like this weird skeleton guy that we saw, forever ago. But
Except for that one guy.
Yeah, right. But the fact that they are doing it is really cool. I appreciate that. And I love that they're diving into their lore and enhancing it and sort of like retconning it, but not really changing anything drastic. I think it's very fun. And I think it's a good year to do it. We're out of the, I feel like we've been pretty lore heavy with like, we had 30 as the anniversary, and then we had 31 as like, obviously it's going to be Halloween themed. Like, this feels like we're getting back to 4 years ago of like those 26 and 27 where it was like Horror Nights ish, and then back past those other anniversaries at like 17 and 18 and stuff like that. It feels like we can kind of do whatever we want in these off years.
Yeah, I am really, really down for this. I love the theme of it. You had me at 1920s Dust Bowl. I think that's great. I know it seems like a well I go back to quite a bit, but I'm getting AHS Freak Show quite a bit just from reading this. So if that's kind of the feel, then I'm super pumped. I'm ready for it. Again, I'm not 100% a Jack guy, so I guess part of me worries a little bit that it will feel too much like Jack, but hopefully it'll be different enough because it's a different character that you won't kind of get stuck feeling that way. But I'm actually really, really, really excited for this.
I am too.
Yeah, I think this is a very good direction to go to. I think it's very just a nice introduction to a character we've seen. And I think it's important to note that it's really good that there's a person of color as an icon now. If you've seen the artwork of Dr. Oddfellow, I think it's a good.
It
I think
is.
it's been more than enough time, but that's just, we have him now, so that we can kind of hold our head high on that fact. And it's really cool to finally see that. So moving along, Jamie, why don't you tackle the next one?
The next one, Seamus's favorite.
So you can have this one, Jamie.
We got it. We got it, baby. We got it. I'm hype. Dueling Dragons, choose thy fate. No matter who you choose, you lose. I love that. 2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spellbook. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor. And then we have a little bit of the insight from the Discover Universal pod for this one as well. So supposedly there's going to be 4 possible endings in this house. Merlin has been captured and stuck as Enchanted Oak, and he's away from his open spellbook. 2 warlocks, Blizzrock and Pyrock, battle to get to it first until they hit a trap which turns them into dragons. And it seems it's going to have a fairy forest castle-esque theme. I could just hear Seamus quivering in the background.
Quivering is a word.
Shuddering. Shuddering, I should say.
Yeah,
Dueling Dragons.
Yeah, so we are going to be traveling through the fairy forest, and we will eventually get to the Merlin's castle. So
it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you're the most excited out of everybody on this one, so
I am. I think it's really cool.
She said it. She's hype. She's hype for this.
I'm hype. You guys.
That's real strong.
I think it's really interesting to see something. I know I wasn't as excited about it before, but I think it's really interesting to see something different in a different kind of setting that we usually don't get from other houses. And like I said, it's kind of more the nostalgic factor for me with I used to go on the ride a lot as a kid and with my parents and stuff, and we love this ride.
Yep.
And it'll be pretty cool to see it. It's the first time I think that they've done a ride based for a house. So I mean that's really cool too. It's something different. It's branching out, which I like.
I respect your opinion.
Thank you, Seamus.
Yeah, sure. It got me a little bit more excited. I'm very intrigued by this 4 possible endings scenario. So what I have in my mind is I don't think this is necessarily going to be a complete 2-path house. You're not going to enter and choose a side. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Well, if there's 4 possible endings, I don't think that would work.
Yeah, so
I think it's going to be like Monsters last year, how it had
Correct.
the different endings in
You
that
just answered
sense.
my own. You just
Yeah,
gave my own. Man, never mind. That's fine.
that's exactly what I said, but that's exactly what I was thinking before. I was like, I think it might be like that.
well, I think it's sort of like that. I think that at the end you can go one of 2 ways. I think at the end you can go to the fire side or the ice side, and then when you're leaving that one, they're going to swap out
Mhm.
victors on that side. So you could go Blizzrock side and Blizzrock has won, or Pyrock has won. And you go Pyrock side, Blizzrock has won, or Pyrock has won. I think that the split is going to be at the very tail end of the the house, and that's that. I, I would be really interested if they did a actual 2 split the whole way, but I don't think that's feasible. I think that
I don't think so either.
I don't think you can do Dueling Dragons and then have the tagline "Choose thy fate" without doing any sort of split path in here.
Some sort of thing,
There
yeah.
has to be a time in this house where you are either going one side or the other. Has to be,
Mhm.
or else I don't
I
know
think
why you
you're-
would choose that tagline.
I think you're trying real hard to talk yourself into this one.
I'm trying.
Not you, Jamie. You're hype. You're hype. You're hype.
Yeah, I mean, at the
But
end of the
Nick,
day,
I think you really.
fantasy's
Because
not
here's
my
the thing. Maybe you guys are just looking at it one. I don't think you're going to choose shit in this house. I think it's going to be. It's literally going to be monsters, but with dragons. And I mean, I'm gonna say the same shit people told me last year with The Weeknd. It's not horror though. So I mean, I'm gonna use the same argument you guys used. Not you guys, but like you in the community who were like shitting on The Weeknd house the entire time because you're all gatekeepers. So let me gatekeep a little bit. No, look, like what you like. I don't care if people are going to enjoy this. I'm happy for you. I really am. I don't want to sit here and shit on it for the next 45 minutes, but I just the whole ending thing. You can't do it at this event. You can't, because here's the thing. It's a steady stream of people that walk through the house. There's no stopping. So the best you can do is what they did with Monsters last year, where the last scene, you're going to get something different every time. That's, I think, what you're going to get. I think it's just going to be that with 4 different endings, and it's either going to be this Pilzock or Pyrock, or the fuck his name is, winning, or it's going to be Blizzrock winning. You know what I mean? Like those are, oh my God, those names. Really? But
The names are a little cheesy.
the whole thing is cheesy.
They had to use
Very
Merlin for
90s
the
cheesy.
I feel like Merlin, the wizard, is like a
This
wizard's name for every wizard.
That's
my only thing.
I think of like, what is that Disney animated movie with is the Merlin movie? What the fuck was that one called? But like that's what
Sorcerer in the Stone.
yeah, whatever. That's what I think of when I read this. And Fairy Forest. You know what?
Hey.
Look.
It's a great horror setting.
Out of all 10 of them, this is the one that I really hope to be completely changed by. Like I want my mind to be changed. But I can tell you right now,
I'm glad you're going in with an open mind.
Hey,
Though.
I
That's
go
good.
in open mind on every one of
That's
them.
good.
But I can
Yeah.
tell you right now with about 98.9% certainty that I'm going to hate this even more than I already do. So you can all hate me. I don't care, because if you haven't realized it yet, I'm going to say shit. I don't give a fuck what you think. So I think this is stupid. I think it sounds stupid. It sounds even more stupid than it did before. So you know what? Again, if you're into it, if you're happy about it, great. I'm so happy that you're pumped about this. But I just don't. There's no choosing. There's not gonna. I mean, look at if they do that, we're like, hey, pick this path at the end of it or whatever. Fine, you're trying something different, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's gonna be the same as we got with Monsters. I'll say it again. And at the last scene, you're gonna get one or the other. So the entire house is gonna be a bunch of fucking LARPers firing fake lasers at each other, and at the end, it's gonna be like, oh, the red dragon one. Oh no, the blue dragon one.
You shall not
Yeah.
pass.
Hey,
Look,
but which one are you choosing though? Are you choosing fire or ice? That's
I
the real
don't give a
Whatever's
question.
shorter.
but to me, I mean, again,
Fire-
good look.
Fire
I
is
don't.
the right answer.
I don't begrudge them for trying something different. I don't. I really don't. Like, I don't think it has to be horror, quote unquote. to be a house. I don't at all. That's why I was super pumped about the weekend, and I like the weekend house so much because I thought it was different. This might be just a little too different for me. I don't have anything to attach it to. I didn't ride the ride. I wasn't there for Dueling Dragons, the roller coasters. So
That's fair.
but at the same time, it's like they're roller coasters. Let me go through this again. They're roller coasters. So like all they're doing is taking like that theme and then building a story off of it. So like I don't know. Dueling Dragons, choose thy fate. Like it just sounds like I don't know. You know what? I'll go into it with an open mind. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'll give it a once through. If I don't like it, I ain't going through it again. I can tell you that much. So I don't know. So again, I'm happy for you, Jamie. I'm kind of happy for you, Nick, because I don't know if you know what you're getting into. And then
it's not my number one hype house, though. Not my number one.
No,
hype.
So
hey, don't worry.
I mean,
just
I
a little hype,
respect your opinion.
I think it'll be cool.
But hey, whatever. It is what it is. I don't want to waste all of our time talking about it. But I'm happy for those that are excited. I really am. Yeah, Merlin has been captured and stuck as an enchanted oak. Like, he's away from his open spellbook to Warlock's Bizrock. That's what I think about when I read this. That's what I think.
You're a natural.
Come here.
Like, bow to it first until they hit a trap which turns them into dragons and a fairy forest. Like, that's what I think of. That's what I think about.
It's actually really good.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not good.
The one thing that I did come out of this
is not good.
The one thing I did come out of this being a little bit more is that, God, whether a warlock is better than a dragon or not, I'd rather a warlock than like a big fake dragony thing being like the main villain.
Oh, I still think
the majority of the
house.
house.
Think you're gonna get like the big puppet dragon.
Oh,
100%.
I'm sure we will at the end, but it's not the entirety of the
house. Which
house.
Again, like Monsters last year, I will appreciate the effort that went into building the house, but I'm going to shit on the story the whole time, and I don't care what people say. I really don't.
You know what? I have a feeling that you guys are going to see. I imagine they have the dragon breathing real fire. Everyone shits their pants. They're like, oh my God, you guys are going to be like, holy shit, that was insane.
Hey, listen, I will gladly say that. I want to say, holy shit, that changed that blew my mind. That was so much better than I thought it was going to be.
You have to duck under the fire to get out. That's the choose thy fate if you make it out alive or not.
Bitch, this will kill the weight a little bit.
Well, good. You know what? Because I'm walking straight through those fucking flames then. Fry my ass. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, all right. Let's move along then. I'll jump into the next one. Yeti campground kills. Yeti or not, here they come. They're gonna Yeti you. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge, menacing Yetis who rip apart anyone who get in their way. You must flee to the Ranger Tower to escape. I am in. Mm-hmm. Some other information that we picked up through the podcast was that this is going to be taking place in the Rocky Mountains, and we are going to be encountering a tribe of Yeti. So a family of Yeti with little
Yeti
baby
family?
Yetis, a Yeti family, a little baby Yeti. This is going to be a comedy gore. So this is, like we said, it's going to be that campy pun / no pun intended.
Sounds like they're kind of going back to like the Bug House type thing, type feel, like that 1950s bubble car, like bubble art.
I like that
pop art type thing.
Better see a bunch of Airstreams in there, bunch of
Oh yeah, totally, 100%.
Pineapple lights that are hanging from outside, pink flamingos, the little whirl of gigs. I want to see it all.
Yep.
One fun thing, and this is not story related. Obviously, we've seen Yeti in the past, and I'm sure if you're listening to us, you've probably listened to other podcasts. You've probably listened to this podcast where they said it, but if you haven't, I'm going to say it now, that the whole Yeti name is sort of an inside joke to them at this point, because the very first iteration of this was actually a swamp ape, and they still just called it Yeti. And then the Yeti house was actually a Sasquatch, and they still just called it Yeti. And now this year it's Bigfoot, but they still just call it Yeti. So like it's a little inside joke with them.
Well, at least the actual Yeti house though was like it was cold, so it was like cold in the mountains. Where like generally the Yeti is like the thing that haunts Tibet or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like at least it kind of
I feel like
that was closest to being an actual Yeti than any of the other ones are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the abominable snowman.
Yeah, well
that was
because that's a Yeti. Like that's what the abominable snowman was, a Yeti, and so that was actually close.
Oh,
but yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I mean, setting wise, for me, knocked out of the park. Like, I know that like Yeti has definitely been a recent reoccurring theme. I think this is probably, I mean, one of the more common things that we've seen consistently in the past couple of years. Now, would I have picked it to come back so soon? Probably not. But am I glad that it is here? Absolutely. In the setting alone, if this was just another, Yeti revisit the Yukon, I'd probably not be nearly as excited. But the fact that it's like a campground and then in the 50s, like I'm in. You couldn't get me more in. I want to like make a reservation at this campground. I want to stay there overnight. I want to cook marshmallows.
100%. Like I am full on for the setting for sure. I think that comes from the fact that like, obviously I'm sure we all camped as kids. I mean, I basically lived at a campground in the summer. So, there's that part of it that's really going to it's going to be kind of like the Dead Man's Wharf or Pier house last year, where like it gave me that New England feel, and being a kid who grew up in New England, like I got that, and it really kind of spoke to the kid in me. This is going to kind of do the same thing with like the campfire smells and the pine needles and the pine smell, and they're going to make you feel like you're out in the woods camping and stuff like that. It's just the Yeti part that I'm not super like wild about, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it'll work. It kind of fits the theme, fits the setting, but I think I'll be more excited about just the setting than anything else.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I liked bugs for the aesthetic they were going for. I just hate bugs, so that didn't work out for me too well. So this one, I think it's the same thing. I really do dig the setting, and I think that they'll be able to kind of do a lot of comedy with it as much as the gore. It's just Yetis again. So Yetis again, excuse me. But we'll see. I mean, they do a great job with the Yeti costumes the last time that they did one, so I'm prepared for them to have really good costuming again. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Jamie, any thoughts on Yeti?
Sorry, I was reading over some of the notes again real quick.
Make sure we don't lose you.
No. Yeah, I was just reading. My bad. But no, I'm still here, guys. Don't worry. No, but I'm really stoked for this house too. I think this is really fun. Kind of like how you were saying, Seamus, how you like the whole campy aspect, the nostalgia factor for you and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like that in the sense that I never really, like, growing up in Florida, I didn't really have that experience with like camping and going to campgrounds and all that kind of stuff like that. But I always really liked those like campy horror movies and stuff like that, because I just always thought it was so cool. Like, wow, like people living up north getting to go summer camp and shit like that. Like I've never done that.
Well,
so
I've never done summer camp, but
right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Overnight
like
camp
that Friday the 13th,
like that, and
you know what I mean? You get that Friday the 13th type deal.
That's exactly what I'm
those
going for, and I've just
time.
always liked that. Yeah, right. And see, I've never really done that kind of stuff before, so I just think that's really fun. And I like the Yeti aspect. The Yeti house in the previous year was really fun. I am surprised too, Nick. I gotta agree with you on that one, that they're doing it so early. I feel like after doing another Yeti house, I'm surprised, but it is a different rendition of it. I'm really excited. I think this facade and the setting is going to be really, really cool, and I think it's going to be very, very dark, which I'm really excited for too, because I love the darkness aspect in the house. It just gives it that better, creepier feel that you don't know what's coming. So
yeah, I'm hoping for one of those scenes where it's like you hear the crickets chirping, but they do something with the lights, so it's like starry lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I could picture it now, relaxing.
Hopefully, time will tell. But this is something I'm very much looking forward to. Seamus, do you want to tackle the next one?
Yeah, sure. So this one's The Darkest Deal. The tagline is famous fleeting, fear is forever. Blues musician Pine Straw Spruce, it's a good name, will have to face the music after meeting with the Collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad learn the terrible price of fame. And then, of course, from the podcast, they kind of describe it like, a Mississippi Delta setting, which is cool. We are viewing this from the perspective of the bandmates and the singer who sold his soul to the Collector. And it's like hints that this is going to have us going to hell in some way. Because obviously this is that story of, went down to Georgia to sell his soul to the devil. I agree with you. I hate the name. It's so stupid.
Pine Straw Spruce.
I don't know. I look, they have really good storytellers at Universal. They're just not good at coming up with like the name. I don't want to go back to it, but like Blythock and Blizzrock, like, and then this dude, Pine Straw Spruce. It's just like, who's coming up with these names, bro? Like, there's got to be better names than that. But either way, I do like the setting for this one. I think having like down at the bayou type setting is really, really cool. We haven't really had that as far as I can tell recently. So that'll be a different type of, a really different type of setting. The collector is interesting that they're adding him in with this. I didn't get to do any of the collector houses before, so this is kind of like that collector sequel we were talking about earlier this year.
I'm curious if it is. I'm not sure if it's going to tie in with that. I think they're just naming that instead of saying devil.
Oh, I mean, maybe.
I think that's like kind of like their code name. Like they don't want to be too like religion devil-y.
Yeah,
like
I
they'll
guess
put some
maybe.
imagery.
I guess
that's
true.
how I took it.
You're right.
Like,
maybe. I just think it's funny that they capitalize it like it's a proper name.
I was thinking that as well too. I was like, does this have anything to do with body collectors? Like, I don't think so, but
that's what I was thinking, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, but either way, you're right. I mean, that could be just what it is. They don't want to like be like the devil and piss people off because you know people are fucking stupid, so they would probably say shit like that, like it's just offending my religion. Like, I'm sure you're at Horror Nights, like fuck off. But
you're fine with pentagrams and murder,
right,
but sure.
Right. Don't even get me started on that. But right, I mean, that's probably all it is. But I thought that maybe that might be interesting just from reading the notes. Like, oh, maybe it does have something to be tied in with those houses, but who knows? But either way, I'm really kind of pumped to go into like that Mississippi Delta, like that like deep South type stuff, and you know, there's some good horror stories you can tell using that setting. So.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this one wasn't too high on my list, but after reading the little descriptions and stuff for it, it does sound kind of fun. I just can't get over Pine Straw Spruce.
The name
is such a goofy
it's
name.
Such a dork name.
Oh, I hate it. Such a goofy name. But I mean, he's supposed to be a blues player from Mississippi, so I guess that's what they were going for with that kind of thing. Sure. But I think this will be a different house. It'll be kind of
the way I would have gone.
Right.
Just
right.
Give me like
That's
Johnny,
what they were.
like, you know, Johnny
Houston.
Yeah, Johnny Houston.
Yeah.
Like, give me something like that, but whatever.
Right.
Straw Spruce.
Yeah, but like I said, I always like the original houses, so I'm excited to see what this one will entail.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's definitely this one, and I think the next one are definitely it's a swing for the fence. You know, we'll see if they actually land it. This is something we've talked about previously, where this is a pretty in-depth story, and how much of that are we actually going to get through the imagery of just walking through the house? I think it's a little bit easier than some of the other houses we've done in the past, but this will be fun. I think it's obviously going to be very music driven. I think the setting is going to be really cool. I mean, I'm sure you're going to get some bar scenes, some little concert venues, some stuff on the road. Maybe I can't get past the name. I'm staring at it myself now, but yeah, this is a very interesting thing. I hope we get something like in a recording studio. This could be a very, very fun house.
Tumbleweeds blowing in the distance.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think you're going to get like when they say Mississippi Delta, I think swamp. So that's kind of where my head is going.
I could see that too.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I like when they take shots and don't even get started about how the dragon's a shot. It's not. This is like a shot in the dark because like it's a very unique story that's, I mean, it's been told a million times, but can you make it into a haunted attraction? That's what's gonna really kind of come. This is a hit or miss. This is one of those things where it's either gonna hit and be amazing and blow you away and really kind of beat your expectation, or it's going to be awful and it's not going to be anything you're going to do more than once. So it could really kind of it could go either way. I think this may kind of be like the Case Files house this year. I think this is kind of what we're going to get with this one, where it's going to be like surprisingly good
cult hit.
Yeah, like a cult hit type house. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for this one.
All right. Jamie, you want to tackle the last one?
Yeah, so the last one we have is the last original and last house on our list. So this is Blood Moon Dark Offerings, and the tagline is Bleed for the Blood Moon. In a colonial era village, Moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad.
Oh my god.
And from Discovery, I know, I don't like that either. That's corny. And then a little from Discovery Universal Pod, a colonial kill cult. The group praises the blood moon, and harvest has not been good as of late. They decide they need to kill all non-followers of the blood moon. So this house, I'm actually pretty excited for. What are you guys thinking about this one? I think this sounds Seamus. I thought
we
you
haven't
liked
done our
this
hype.
one.
We haven't done our hype lists yet, but I'm
hyped for this
really
one
thinking
too.
this one might be up there.
I know we're both into the culty horror.
Yeah, I am hype for this house.
Yes.
I love that theme. We obviously have talked about this in the past, how much Nick is not a fan of the Witch movie. And I love
This is exactly what I was thinking of.
the Witch movie. Like I love
Me
Witch.
too.
So this is gonna. I think this is gonna be right up my alley. This, gonna be in like the woods, that colonial era, that early 1600s colonial Virginia, New England. The crazies that are like worshiping their god or whatever, and there's that sect that breaks off, and now they're like blood worshippers and shit. Like that's gonna be cool. I like those types of stories, so I'm super excited where they go with this. I mean, I do worry a little bit that it could kind of go off the rails, and kind of in the way that the Witch House did. Was it last year?
Spirits of the Coven
kind of went. It took like a hard left turn. Wasn't exactly where I wanted it to go. I think this one has the chance of doing that, but I think if they keep it simple, stick to the story, I think it could work really well. But yeah, this could very well be like the Dead Man's Pier for me this year. I really do. I'm really stoked for this one. But we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yeah, I think this is gonna be cool, and I think there's a lot of things you can do with it. I can't wait to walk in. You see that big, like up in the sky, the big, like dark, big red moon. Like that's gonna be really. I can just kind of see where they're going with it. I'm really kind of pumped for it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick?
The aspect of this that excites me and scares me at the same time is how little we actually like really know about this one. I feel like all the other ones we sort of have a pretty good feel for. Like story wise, I mean, we got Pine Straw, but like we have names of characters and we have like distinct settings. This one is a little bit more open ended. Like who is this kill cult? Is there a leader? Is there And these aren't questions that I need answered, but it's the stuff that like it could go one way, which is like spirits, and it could kind of like have a really good start and have like a good idea and sort of just been like fall off a little bit, or it could just go the complete other way. This could be like a sense of destruction where I was like, I don't know much about this house, but I'm very I'm into it. Let's see what it's all about. And then when we get in there, we're like, oh yes, this was awesome. So that's the part that like excites me and puts me on edge a little bit, but I think it's fun. I'm interested in it. I like the aspect of it being like a culty thing versus, again, like witches or just like another trope. I mean, it is a trope. It is a kill cult, but like it's just a little bit different. We haven't seen it as recent as some of the other avenues that they could have taken. But I'm excited. It's kind of, I mean, you mentioned hype list. When we get to that episode, this one will be a tough hype list for me to do. I think I have my tops, and then everything is kind of like I could interchange, and I think it's going to change drastically after I go through the event. But a lot of the stuff is just it's all pretty close because it's just they're very different stories. They're swinging for the fence on this one as well. I think this and Dark Offerings the Darkest Deal, sort of feel similar to me in that they're both very big swings on some stuff that they haven't really dipped their toes in completely yet, and I'm excited for it.
Me too.
All right, so that was all of our houses, our shows, and our scare zones. Did anybody have any more final thoughts on maybe anything in particular, the overall announcement, how it came to be, anything like that before we move on to the last couple things?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but what is your like overall feeling so far? Like, I know we haven't really done our hype lists yet, but like, are you Do you feel better about the year than from when the spec maps dropped? Do you feel about the same? Do you feel worse? I don't think any of us
I
feel worse, but
Yeah, I feel drastically better. I remember when Spec Map came out, the first one, I think me and you were aligned in the feeling of like, oh, come on, like
yeah,
this
the Demon
sucks.
Slayer map was like,
Yeah.
this just looks like it's gonna be a rough year, but yeah.
No, now that we have some more identity to these originals, I'm definitely a little bit more excited because, like you said, when we saw that first one, and it was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, maybe I'm excited for two of these, like maybe, but you know, we got they got a lot of stuff mixed up on that one. We got some strong headliners. We got some really good originals. The scare zones. I love the aspect of tying them all together. I'm a sucker for that. I hope that's something that's done, continuously. I don't think. And look, all these scare zones are drastically different, but they have one common thread, and that's not going to overrun the overall event. Vamp 69 is still going to be an awesome Vamp 69 zone, and it's not going to be worse in the fact because Dr. Oddfellow is somehow in there. He's not going to overshadow that. So I think that's something that's very interesting, and I love that they're doing that.
I agree. I don't feel worse. I feel about the same from the third spec map. It was pretty much the same to me anyways. But I mean, again, I still don't think there's that massive IP draw. I know that people want to use, which we didn't talk about, but The Last of Us is like the big IP draw, and it probably is or supposed to be. I just don't think there's anything on here that's like, well, Stranger Things, I guess, is really the big one, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably the big IP draw, and that's fine. Overall, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good event. I'm actually happy that I'm excited for a Monsters House. So, like,
They did it. They did the unthinkable.
Yeah. They found a way to rope me in, and so hopefully they don't ruin it and then ruin it forever for me. But we'll see. So outside of one very obvious house, I'm pretty excited for this event. So we'll see what happens. Again, I go into everyone with an open mind. I give everything a chance, and then I make my final decision based on that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we're looking at a pretty decent event. I don't think it's the greatest one that I've been to so far. I don't think it will be, but at the same time, I think it'll be fun, and there'll be a lot of things to really dig into. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year, honestly. I feel like the last 2 years hadn't really done it for me as being like a favorite year maybe since 29 with House of Thousand Corpses and stuff like that. But I just think the scare zones, the houses, just everything that they have combined this year, I think so many of them pique my interest that I'm really, really excited. I think this year might end up being one of my favorite years within the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into one last little thing. This news dropped after all of this stuff. They sent out the lists for unmasking the horror tours, so we know which houses are on which tours. So if you are doing the 3-house tour, you'll be going to visit The Last of Us, The Darkest Deal, and Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. And if you do the 6-house tour, you're going to get Universal Monsters Unmasked, Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, Stranger Things 4, Yeti Campground Kills, Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate, and Blood Moon Dark Offering. So a good little split. It makes sense that The Exorcist is not on that, being that it is still a movie that has been unreleased. So I guess
that was the house that was missing.
So
okay.
I'm glad because I
I'm
honestly
sure that's
thought,
also one of the ones where they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
So,
I was nervous because I thought Stranger Things was going to be that house. I thought that one was going to get left
I
off
was
the list.
too.
yeah, I'm surprised it's not, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I'm sure that, I mean, that one I bet you will be able to take minimal pictures in, but
Yeah. There's only going to be probably a couple. But
It'll be
it'll
one of
still
those
be
things.
cool.
You can take pictures in this room.
Yeah,
You can take
and
pictures
that's,
in this room.
and that's it. That's the only room.
Yeah.
So before we get into our call-in section, which is pretty cool, we got a new
This
little
is
call-in
new.
thing. New.
Dangerous, but new.
We have a contest that we have alluded to online. Pretty big one, I think. I think this is very fun. I'm very excited to do this. A couple of you got it right. Not everybody, but let's announce it. Let's announce the contest, because what we're going to do is we're going to open this up on Monday. So we are going to invite one of you onto a 3-house Unmasking the Horror tour with us. I think me and Jamie are going to be picking a day. We are going to go. So one lucky winner will get to come with us. So to enter, all this information will be put out on Monday, but if you're listening, you're going to kind of get first sight on or first hear of it. So it's more of a Twitter and Instagram thing. So you have to be following us, of course. You have to retweet the post on Twitter or share the post on Instagram, and you have to tag 3 friends in the comments. Very easy. You don't have to pay for it. We're not doing anything at cost. We are going to cover the cost of the tour for you. The contest is going to run from August 7th through August 21st. So you have 2 weeks to get in on this thing. So if for whatever reason you miss it, you have plenty of time to get in on this. So we're going to select one winner. So I'll take all the entrants from Instagram. I'll take all the entrants from Twitter. It's going to be one big pool. We are going to select one winner, and we will announce it on our August 25th episode, which is going to be the kickoff of our 1 week until HHN Podathon, which we did last year, and we have already started game planning for that this year. So if you are not familiar with that, if you are a newer fan in the last year, the week leading up to Horror Nights, we put out an episode every single day from Friday to Friday. So you will not have a day where you go without listening something HHN related. We got your back. So, like you said, this contest is going to go live on Monday. We will have it pinned on our Twitter. We will have it pinned on our Instagram. You will be able to find it very easily. And all you have to do, like I said, you're just going to have to be following us. You're going to have to retweet or repost that. And you're going to have to tag 3 friends in the comments. And we are going to bring one of you onto the 3-house tour with us. So we will get to see The Last of Us. We will get to see The Darkest Deal. And we will get to go visit Dr. Oddfellow and his twisted origins. So pretty.
You haven't picked a date for that yet?
No, I haven't picked that one. So what we're going to do is we will pick a date once a winner is drawn, because I want to make sure that if they are not a local, maybe we can try and line it up. Obviously we are normal people with lives and stuff too, so we may have some stuff going on at some point too. So once we get a winner, we will get in contact with you. We will try to line up a day. We will see what your dates are in the area. We will see if you are a local and you can kind of make weekdays versus weekends. We'll go from there. I didn't want to pick a date because I didn't want to discourage anyone from entering that wasn't going to be around in that time frame.
That's what I was going to ask, because if it's somebody from out of state, maybe we'll have to plan it around when they're in town.
Yeah, so we're going to leave that part open. We will look at what days are available once the contest is over. But that's it. Yeah, you're going to come on a little Unmasking the Horror tour with us. If you've never done one, this is a good little preview.
It's
they're
awesome.
Amazing.
It's one of my favorite things to do at the event ever since we started doing them. They're really fun.
Well, this is a pretty big announcement because it was news to me. I had no idea we were doing this, so that's awesome.
And we promise we're really nice.
So, well, no, I mean, I wasn't going to do the 3-house tour this year, but I mean, shit, if this is what we're doing, I guess I'm going to have to. So,
all right,
we'll throw Seamus in there
do
too.
it.
All right, Seamus coming along for the ride.
Well,
so you get
weird if like
band.
only two of us are there, right? So
you get the whole band for this one. But no, I'm excited. This will be our first year doing both tours. We've already booked our 6-house tour, and in the past we haven't done the 3-house one. And I feel like I was like, all right, I just need to book this one because I'm sick of missing the other 3 houses because I love the tour itself. So I'm very, very excited. So that's our contest, and that is the prize, and we will have all of that information out for you on Monday. So let's get into call-ins. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to play the message, and we can kind of respond.
These could go
after.
really well or really bad.
I did sort of screen these a little bit before.
Well, you have to screen them because I can only imagine the shit we're gonna get.
Yeah, so
I'm so nervous.
Let's see how we go. And some of them maybe coming through the microphone, it might be a little bit harder to hear. So we'll I'll try to, if I hear it from on my end a little bit.
We can get more fancy and like pump these in like digitally at some point.
All right, so let's fire this one up. Let's go. Click the right buttons, and how do I get the?
I hear something.
Oh, let's start this over. All right.
Hello, my name is Bob, and I'm calling in because I've been a fan of Hollywood Horror Nights for a long time, and I'm finally going back to Hollywood Horror Nights this year. And them making the announcement last Friday was just really amazing, and I feel like this year's gonna be one of the most intense years and one of the most like emotive ideas Halloween Horror Night have done in terms of using a structured story and just like using something original except for IPs. I love the IPs, but I love how they do all the original stuff and how they and how you have all these amazing characters like that, the clown, the tale-taker, and all these characters come in. I truly love that. And I'm really excited for, like, my most anticipated house for the IP is definitely The Last of Us. I'm really excited for The Last of Us to see how they do the video game. And I'm really interested in the Exorcist house for the new movie. Like, question for you guys: do you think they're gonna like recreate the trailer, or do you think they're going to like do the beginning to the?
All right, so that one
Oops.
just
It
cut off. Yeah, that one cut off. But a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, this is going to be a very original year. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in this year. There's a lot of we just went through them all. I mean, you got Yetis, you got dragons, you got Blood Moon, you got the Darkest Deal, you got Oddfellow. There's different branches of everything. But the Exorcist thing, right? That's going to be an interesting thing because it's who knows. Like, I don't think they're going to recreate just the trailer. We're going to get scenes from the movie, I think. But yeah, I'm very interested to see, and we're gonna have to kind of speed through our answers because we are creeping up on our 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we've
but
got about
anybody else?
14 minutes left.
Yeah. Did anybody else have anything for Bob? Bob, thanks for
No,
calling.
hey, thanks, Bob. That's awesome. Glad
I
to hear
know.
from
Thank
you.
you for calling.
Hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed the year this year, and I know definitely agree with you. I think it's going to be pretty wild this year, so we'll see kind of where they go with it.
Mhm.
All right, let's jump.
I know, and
Oh.
go ahead. Mhm.
I was gonna say we'll jump into the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, it's been on Fear and Beer too. My name is Thomas. I'm just calling. Hopefully, I'm probably not the first caller, but huge fan of your guys' show. Huge Horror Nights fan, and obviously came from
A little feedback.
and now you're just going as guests.
Uh-oh.
I really enjoy your guys' show. It's something I listen to at work and at home, and it makes my work day go by a lot faster. And I just enjoy just all the different topics you guys do. But keep up the good work. I look forward to your review episode. I know Nick gave me on vacation, but look forward to your guys' review episode. Anyways, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the fall. Bye.
Oh yeah, Thomas.
I didn't catch his
thanks
name. What was his name?
It was Thomas, I believe it was.
Oh, Tom. Okay.
Appreciate you
thanks.
calling in. We're
Appreciate
here for
it.
you. We're here to get you through those work days.
Yeah, and I'm here to piss y'all off. So if you get angry at one of my opinions, just remember I'm Seamus. So
We actually got 2 voicemails. That makes me so
Yeah,
happy.
we got 2 more too.
2 more. Holy
Really?
shit! Let's go. We gotta get them. We're gonna run out of
We gotta
time.
cut
That's
these,
fun.
I gotta.
Thanks for calling in, Tom. We get we're a cut rate podcast. We still have to use
And
non-paid.
Sorry if we got your name wrong. It was kind of hard to hear for us over the microphone.
So if it's not Thomas, please let us know. Correct us.
We'll find a way to do this better next time. Maybe we won't be as crunched for time, but
right.
Hey guys, I'm a big fan. I have a question. If you had to pick a favorite house, what would it be? You could pick from all the years you have gone. You could pick. You just gotta pick one house that's absolutely your favorite. Thank you. Love you guys.
Oh,
Thanks,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
so
Thanks, man.
nice. Everyone's so nice.
So yeah, this is a good
So-
this is a perfect quick answer thing. So
Stranded
one
on
It
stranded on
says-
an island. You can only have one house. Which house would it be? Graveyard Games. Lock it in.
I'll go Wicked Growth.
So I think you guys know what I'm gonna pick, but I'm not gonna pick it.
Oh, I don't
So
know.
I'm gonna pick Dead Silence: The Curse of Mary Shaw.
Okay, different.
Yeah.
Different. What was the one you were gonna
Different
pick but not
way
pick?
way back. House of Thousand Corpses, but I
Oh.
only got to do the house one freaking time, so I can't really say too much about it, but it was awesome too. That's my number 2. But from 2007, I think, was the Mary Shaw house, 2007,
That's cool.
2009, but back in the day, it was a really fun house. Dead Silence, one of my favorite
Yeah, I
movies.
was a poor
Love
college
it. The
kid.
house
Couldn't
was
come
great.
down and see it. So it's,
I was a child, so it's okay. My parents paid for it.
All right.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
And then the last one, this one actually came in while we were recording. So
Oh,
you
no
made it
shit,
in
really?
the skin of your teeth.
Cool.
Just made it in time. Oh, I gotta put this thing on speaker again.
Hey, Shadowy Soul and Beer. Hey, Fear and Beer. This is Adam, aka Shadowy Soul, and Matt from Blood and Guts, HHN on YouTube. Just calling to say that we
Nice.
dig the show. We dig what you guys are doing. What's your thoughts on the Blood Moon House? We're kind of thinking it sounded a little bit too much like Spirits of the Coven for our liking, but we will see. Let's get up. Let's get up in the fog and get a lacto cooler. See you there. Stay spooky.
I'm definitely in on the lacto cooler. Yeah, I mean, we did talk about.
I think that. I mean, I think what we said. I think coming off that conversation, I think it kind of answers his question. I think he's right along the same thought process I had. Like, it could very well go the way of Covens if it's not careful, but I'm cautiously optimistic that it won't, and they'll actually do exactly what I have in mind. It's like, give me like that witch colonial era house, and I'll be happy about it.
Yeah, I think it is. I see why the comparisons are there for sure. It's it's a vague house right now. We don't know much about it. It sound witches was kind of like that same aspect, or it was like that it's a witch cult or whatever, and this is a cult. So I can see why the comparisons are there. I'm hoping that they learn their lesson. I hope that it doesn't go completely off the rails. But that's kind of where I stand on Blood Moon, and I'm absolutely here for that lacto cooler in the fog. All right. So if you do want to call in, the number is 689-244-0956. You can call in at any point during the week. We will play our messages. We will respond to them.
Our intern will answer.
Yeah. The phone again is 689-244-0956. So we don't have time to do horror movie of the week. We're going to skip through that.
Good, I didn't watch shit. So
yeah, I mean, we were on vacation. We didn't really watch much anyways. So again, lots of awesome stuff. We are almost there. We are almost in the fog. As just sort of a wrap up, get ready for that contest. I hope a lot of people can find us from it. I hope somebody that maybe hasn't been able to go on one of these tours gets to finally experience it with us. And get ready, because I mentioned it. I mentioned our 1 week till Horror Nights Podathon. We are gearing up. We are getting ready, and we are going to get you all kinds of episodes that week. We're doing drafts. We're doing hype lists. We're doing over or unders. We're doing hot takes. We're coming at you with everything we got, so that way you have something to listen to while you're just watching the clock, waiting to see if it's Friday, September 1st yet. So that is what we have. Thank you for sticking along this whole ride. Until next time, this is Nick.
This is Seamus.
This is Jamie.
Happy announcement season. Let's go.
It's cursed. Cursed. It's got a death curse.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
And again, I would just like to thank Vampire Stepdad for letting us use his music for our intro and outro music. So if you would, just go check him out. Spotify, Facebook. Again, that is Vampire Stepdad.